Hi everybody, it's Robbie behind the camera from Southern California today. And you know, I was doing a couple things in my garden and I thought I'm going to grab my camera. Yeah, it's drizzling. And just kind of give you an update of what's going on in the winter. And we're almost at winter. In a week, it's going to be winter. I've been cleaning my garden. Now remember, I'm not going to plant a whole lot like you're not planting. You may be under snow. I'm just not going to bother, but I'm starting to fill my containers. This is all the tomato cuttings that were right here that were dying out. I put it in there. I'm going to either crush it down or maybe move some of it. But whatever you do or whatever I do, I don't throw that away. That is going to be growing soil this spring. As you can see, the garden is still going, and you see my garden tours all the time. Well, I scored a whole bunch of those gray containers, and I checked them. There are 5. Now remember, 5 is as pretty safe as you could get because those are the same numbers they use for our food as food containers that you buy in the grocery store. I was at the dollar store the other day and they had this great big container. I thought it was $1, but it turned out it wasn't. And I put it over my head and a lady looked at me and I said, "Oh, I'm just smelling to see if it's safe." And I told her I'm not crazy. And she walked off kind of like, uh-oh. But what I can do is I can actually smell because I didn't see the number on it at first. And you can smell a lot of times the plastic if it's toxic. I can. Not everybody can, but I can. And then if you smell that, be sure to check the container because a lot of times I have found the sticker on it that you may not see a number on it and it will say that it can be hazardous to your health. So you don't want those. That's why I know a 5 is okay. There's no plastic smell to them. They had them for $5 that day, but they were half price. So I got them for $2.50 and I got a whole stack of them. So I've got plans on what I'm going to do with that. So right now I'm starting to fill them. I've already filled one, just starting this one. There's no holes yet. And you know how I put the holes. It depends on how you're going to grow in them, where you're going to grow in them. I'm putting these against the wall and I'm going to have the holes just above the bottom because if I put it on the bottom, the pepper tree is going to go inside that container and invade my spring plants. So I'm going to probably put holes on the side. But right now, I'm not worried about it unless it gets full of water. I can either tip it out or have Gary make me the holes. And I'm going to go through and as I always talk about, this is gold. Not only does it look like gold, all that is going to turn into soil. So I'm going to go through the garden. I'm going to be picking a lot of the leaves. Don't worry if there's little insects on it or not. It doesn't matter. They're not going to be there in the spring. And I'm going to fill that up. And the other problem is I've got so much kitchen scraps. You know what I do sometimes? Look at this. It rotted away. We've had so much rain. And I haven't moved it yet where I want. But this is what I've been doing. I've been actually going straight into Kitty's garden as well as mine and just putting it in there. Do you know how rich this water is? That all this kitchen scraps is sitting in here? Look at this. Look at this. I've been dumping it here and that was baby walking onions and they're just taking off. Yeah, it would be better if I diluted it and watered it throughout my whole garden, but I'm not going to bother. And with this, you know what? I have a place for this. It might be too much, but I'll grab this with me and we'll walk and talk for a few moments. So remember, in your garden, doesn't matter where you're doing it, don't throw any of your garden leaves or all that away. All the leaves turn into soil. It's like nature. It falls in the winter in your area, might get covered in snow, but in the spring when it starts to melt, it's going to break down and it becomes topsoil. Now here, everything looks really sad. It's done. There's a squash down there. And here, let's see what's going on in here. Oh, there's still stuff. And I just saw an earthworm. The earthworms just took off and went down. I have only one hand right now. Let's see if I can do this because it's a little bit much for where I'm going. But I might pour a little bit in here. Don't worry if some of it goes to the side. That's a good start. Maybe a little bit more. Now, sorry, I'm shaking you around. If I wanted to, and I did drop some down here, it won't break down if it's on the top. I could put a little soil on that, but since I'm going to add more, it's breaking down on its own. This is going to be fantastic. This bucket is closed. Nothing can get into it. put a plant on top or something heavy if you think something might. It's going to just feed that container, and then I'm going to break all those plants back into it, top it with either wood chips or potting soil, and plant in the spring. We're going to keep walking. As you can see, got a lot of leaves around here. And again, you don't want that to go to the landfill. You go buy a bag of soil. It's expensive. Make your own. And that's what I've been doing. So what have I been doing? I have been going through and cleaning my garden. Slowly, there's no hurry. I've got what? 3 months until I really start growing. Somebody asked me, why am I growing indoors? Can't you grow everything outdoors? Yeah, but I'm just doing it for fun. Outdoors, you can't grow everything. The mint has not died back yet. We'll see what happens. It's been getting cold, but the spearmint's going pretty good. A lot of the other mint is starting to die back a little bit. See, it's going yellow. This is chocolate mint here. So we'll see what happens. But, certain things grow and certain things don't. My celery's coming back. So my celery's growing in the winter. Even though we've been really cool. Not as cold as the East Coast. That's under snow. I understand that. That's why you should be growing tomatoes inside. I've got tomatoes growing inside. You've seen the room. You can see it on the garden tour. This is where Gary's got stuff growing inside. We've got red tomatoes on there and peppers, unbelievable peppers growing inside. I'm growing peppers better. Let's see if he's got this open real quick. Real quick. I didn't want to do this. And yes, I could pour some of that compost juice in here that I showed you. Look at this. I've been picking tomatoes. They just keep growing and growing. And the peppers, that thing's supposed to turn red, but all it's doing is getting bigger and bigger, and it's full. There must be 10 or more peppers on there. So it's doing really good, and the Malabar spinach is growing really good. Started some more seedlings here. So you can grow things indoors, but today let me close the door. I really want to talk about composting. If you've got a garden where you're starting to clean it, that's one thing. If you're starting to pick up the leaves and clean it out and get the dead stuff out, don't throw it away. Even if you fill up a trash can, make sure there's holes on the bottom. You don't want it to turn into muck. And put it somewhere and leave it. Leave it out all winter. It doesn't matter if it dries out. It doesn't matter what happens to it. Because no matter what, it's going to rejuvenate and it's going to go back and turn into soil. And that's why you don't want to throw it away, because that's Mother Nature doing her thing. Let's grab this and we'll take a walk. But that's what I want to talk about today, is not throwing things to the landfill that should not go to the landfill. Any of these leaves, the tomato plant here, it's got a lot of yellow leaves. I'll trim that off, put it in a bucket, and get ready to compost. This too. Gonna compost in here. I could throw some of this in here, but actually, you know what? I might put a little bit in here because it's really full and I've got so much more. But that I'll work on later. I'm going to probably put zucchini or something in there. Same thing here. See, that celery's all dead. I'll chop that up and put it back in there. Maybe I'll just grow celery there. Oh, my pomegranates. Been picking pomegranates. They're done. We are going into winter. And there's the wall. Now that's what I want to change. I could fill the bathtub, but I'm not going to deal with that right now. I want to grow here. I have been growing so much squash here. They're supposed to be zucchini, but they're hybrid seeds. So you've seen them. They look like bowling balls. But boy, do they taste good. So what I'm going to do here is continue the wall with containers. And because of all the trees around here, especially this one, that is a little bit of an issue, but it's like the tree of life. Hummingbirds nest in it. All the different birds that build their beautiful little woven nests, they nest in it. So I can't worry too much about the pepper tree, but invasive roots. So I don't want to put the holes right on the bottom because they really look for water and food because they want this food. So I'll put the holes just a little bit up. And it works perfect for my vegetable plants. And here it is, just stuff from the house. So here, now with this, There's newspaper in there, shredded paper, all kinds of stuff. I'll probably stick a lid on top so I don't have any critters getting in there, because I'm not planting in that right now. I have no reason to plant in it. I've got things starting to grow, like here's squash, but you know what? It's too cold. It's really too cold for it. It's going to try. These are just seeds that are coming up in my compost, but it's not really going to do anything. This is a good lid. Maybe I'll use this lid. Oh, look at the worms. See, anytime you pick up, if you're looking for worms, go pick up a pot. If you want earthworms and you've got some soil around, especially if you've got like a garden bed, put a pot down, preferably with a plant or something so it's damp underneath, and then go back in a few days and you'll be able to find your own worms. Look at that. There's another one. For now, I'll just put them in here. But this lid, yeah, I should put this lid, and I think I will. It probably won't fit. I put it here just to cover this table that, you know, I want to put that all back in there. I put the lid there just to cover this table that Gary found in the trash. But for now, there it is. That's all you need to do. And put something heavy on top. It doesn't matter what it is, just anything heavy. You'll be able to keep small critters out of there. And that is perfect. Now that's going to break down. I really do need to get Gary to come out here, or me, and get some holes in there, just a few. All these that are growing zucchini and squash all do have holes. But in the meantime, I can fill that up. And then, come spring in 3 months, if it didn't break down as much as I'd like, there's a couple different things I can do. We have lots of wood chips. So I can just pile the top now or in a month or two, and it will all break down super fast. If you don't have wood chips, get a bag of potting soil, put it on top. You don't even have to buy the best. Just buy something that doesn't have a bunch of garbage in it. And then put it on the top. So when you put the potting soil on top, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Put a container or something heavy on top, and no little guys are going to get in there. It can't help you with bears. But you know, once you cover the top, the newspaper, the food matter, and all that stuff, and throw some worms, that if you can find some worms, like I just showed you under the pot there, throw some of that in there, it's going to break down. So in the meantime, you're going to grow in it. If you can plant in March, plant in March. If you can't plant till May, it doesn't matter. That's not going to go bad. Even if I didn't put holes in it and left it the way it is going to start to break down. The best way, though, to break it down, and the fastest way to break it down, would be to put a layer of whatever on top of the food matter I put in there. And it doesn't matter if it's native soil, it doesn't matter what it is, and then this will sink too. See, right now it's about 6 inches from the top. This will sink down. As it breaks down, it will sink, and when comes spring, I'll probably have a good 10 inches on the top where I can add in 3 or 4 inches of soil and throw some zucchini seeds in there or anything I want to grow in there, and it will just take off. Being that this is so rich, and it will be very rich, I would go with something that likes to be fed good. A tomato plant likes a lot of food. Zucchini and squash like a lot of food. Something that doesn't need a whole lot, like carrots and radishes, you don't have to plant in something this good, because this is going to be really rich soil. As far as the few papers that got in there with ink, the ink here in the United States, 99.9% of it is made out of soy now. It's not toxic. So I'm not worried about it at all. And it's going to break down. What it is the microbes break it down, and then the earthworms eat it, and it all disappears. You won't even know what was in there. So that's it, kind of an update. Look at this. Oh, is this funny? You know what I did this morning? Yes, I am still getting zucchini. This is a female. See the female squash? That's a female squash. This is another flower coming. That's a male. See, there's no fruit on it, but there's a fruit there. Well, there was a great big flower, and it's so cold today. So I tore off the male. See, that's the male. Been pushing it around, and then I left it. So this way, if something comes later, a bee, a bug, ants, whatever, they'll finish the pollinating, and I started it. So I am still getting some zucchini, and new squash. It works. It's kind of a lazy way of doing it, but it works. So that's it. It was an update on don't throw away anything. All this, if you decided you went into your yard or your garden and you wanted to get rid of all this and cut it all back, you're done with the plant, don't throw it away. Let's see what we have here. Male, male, male. These are all males. So that's the only female flower that's open right now. You know, you don't want to throw anything of that away because that is perfect for growing more in the spring. So come spring, early summer, when you're planting, all the leaves you've got, all the matter that you're chopping out, that is going to grow again. It's going to feed your plants. It's plant food. So that's it. Kind of just wanted to walk out. I've been doing that for the past few days. I actually find it relaxing. And just wanted to touch base with you and say, don't throw away all the brown matter. And if it's under the snow right now and you can't get to it, don't worry about it. When the snow melts and it's all dead under there, do it then. Pile it up. Throw it in a container. Throw something on top. Because remember, the very top doesn't break down. It's what's underneath. And you only need a half inch. So you can throw anything on top and it will break down right away. Oh, there's my pomegranates. Oh, and there's more up there. Look at that. More pomegranates up there. So that's it. Just wanted to touch base with you on that. Look at the big tomato. Isn't that something? But again, you just don't want to throw any of that away because that's all plant food. It's money. Basically, it's money. You're throwing money in the trash if you're throwing it away. So just save it. Save it because it's not that you're saving money and you don't have to buy plant food. It's actually going to be better than a lot of the stuff you can buy. Not all the stuff, but a lot of the stuff you can buy, it will be better because it's coming out of your garden. You know it's organic. You know where it came from. And it's plant food. That's it. So I am going back to get things done. It is raining and my camera's all wet. And I just wanted to kind of just say that's what I'm doing. I'm collecting, I'm planting, and if you can, get those containers. I've seen them at the store, especially with the holidays. They're so cheap right now. Saw them at a grocery store for $4 a piece. I couldn't believe it. I thought, why am I bothering trying to buy them at the thrift store when they had them one day for $4? And then I went back and they were all gone, but I had plenty. So that's why I didn't buy them that day. All right, so with that, have a great day. Look at the birds. As fast as I put out birdseed, they come. Oh, hundreds and thousands of birds all day. Have a great day. And don't forget to save your plant matter. And don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye, everybody.